Okay. Iterations of the original plan. I've been laying around for quite a while tonight, and I thought I would just run through some of the changes that I made. Didn't spend a lot of time on the painting, but as you can see, it's changed. I have to go to I have to deliver a couple of paintings tomorrow, which I'm not looking forward to. My back is still giving me lots of grief, but I'm just going to jump in the car and do it. And by the time I get home, I'm sure I'll be ready to lay down a fair bit after that. Anyway, okay, first thinking. I was going to have a dark foreground, a fairly narrow, strong prairie foreground with a few shapes of buildings, not too much detail at all, just indications of buildings. I wasn't going to wash the whole thing in. I was just going to stain the canvas, as you saw in a previous video. I was going to jump in there and, like a screaming banshee with a modicum of control, I was going to throw paint in there like crazy. Left, right, center, you know. Sort of rely on intuition. Well, intuition bred of experience. That's been toned down quite a bit. That was my first thought. The first iteration of my plan in my head was that. Next thing, I'd put in the charcoal lines, shaping the buildings, what have you. I was pretty happy with that. Didn't worry about the sky at all. I thought, fine, I just need the basic shapes in here. I'm still going to jump in there with the knife and do all kinds of things. Again, the plan was to keep this not too high value down here. Keep the chromatones down. Well, maybe not toned down so much, but definitely draw the eye up here as a strong high value area, probably, is what you would call it. This would be secondary or parallel in interest between these two, more or less. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. Sorry, it's getting late. So I painted in this area down here. Some turpentine, some paint, what have you, looked good. You'll notice that in, I guess, the last video, or the one before that, when I had this line drawn in, or painted in, or stained in, and then I used these sort of reds in here, you couldn't tell a lot. There was no huge difference in color or value or chroma between these reds and the stain, the burnt sienna stain that was immediately adjacent to it. It was there, but not by much. Then I needed to get rid of the stain down here. I needed to block this down because I could not gauge my colors or my values or my chromas when I went into the sky if I left this. So made it all dark. That looked fine. Then I started to draw. Then my back started to give me grief. That's when I knew that I did not want to use a knife. Had I used a knife, I would have to commit to the entire sky in one go. Wasn't up to that. So I thought, all right, fine. I still want to paint. A way to mitigate that is just use the brush then. Commit to using the brush for the painting, because then I don't have to do large areas. I can go as far as I can go. I get tired, I get sore, whatever. I can stop and pick it up later. And that's why I, indeed drew some lines in with charcoal, and that's why I actually did an underpainting, an underpainting or a wash-in, whatever you want to call it, shaping these clouds. But I still left this band down below here, which was it was too strong. So tonight I've come down, I looked at it for a while, stared at it for a while, and thought, no, that's not going to do. I have all this strength here. I don't want another band across here. reinforcing this. I mentioned before, I wanted the light, or I wanted the movement in the painting to jump from these buildings somewhere, jump up into the sky. As soon as I have a second band, we have this band, and then as soon as I have a second band here, I've already destroyed, or certainly softened the impact, got rid of some of the potential drama of this leap. So I softened that line, as you can see, quite a bit. Now that I've done that, I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out. Now I'm tempted to I still want to maintain this feel of heading this direction, but it's not going to be that violent drama that I was originally thinking of. So what is this? What are we on now? Third, fourth iteration of my thoughts? The point is, as I've gone through the painting, my plan has changed every time. With painting in an area, I thought, oh, that looks good, but I could improve on it. Sometimes it's good just to trust the plan and stick with it. This time, partly because, my sniveling about my back, I wanted to, it's just practical to use a brush sometimes. It's a lot easier in a lot of ways. Actually, a brush painting generally is much easier than a knife. It's more forgiving, let's put it that way. So I'm probably going to introduce a little bit of these reds up in here, a little bit slivers. These brush strokes are very soft. I may stay with the brush strokes as we work our way up in the sky. I'm still planning on using higher values up here, or maybe harder lines. More than likely it's just going to be harder or higher values. Not going to go too high in chroma. I'm going to maintain my high chromas down here. I know that originally I said I don't want too high a value or chroma adjacent to these buildings because I wanted to focus more up here. I can still raise the chroma and value down here without worrying about it. I can now think, all right, I want my strength to be here. This will be the focal area now. Focal point's going to be probably somewhere around here. So far it's here, but I think it'll end up around here somewhere. But I can still pull that focal point up and off to the left and have a very attractive or very effective dramatic sweep of cloud. Even if the whole thing were just mist and there were no hard lines, no definitive shapes, I could still do it just using colors and value. So I'm still planning on doing that, but for the time being, I'm pretty happy with the way it is. By the time I'm done with my trip tomorrow, I'm going to be finished. That's why I'm doing this video tonight and trying to explain my thinking. So I'll play with that later. I guess what I'm trying to say is, be malleable with your thinking. As I'm moving through these stuff. Like I built these clouds in here. I don't mind wrecking them. I don't mind just getting rid of them. I did it once, I can do it again. Actually, I've done it probably 1,000 times, I can do it again. Same with the colors, I can move this stuff all around. And because I'm only laying it on, not even in an impasto manner, but fairly thinly, it's going to be very easy to change things as I go. Even if the paint dries a little bit, not an issue. So we're kind of sticking with the plan of these shapes, a sort of a sweep up to the left, something fairly strong, likely higher value, lower chroma. Here it'll be lower value, higher chroma, but just that feeling, I could paint the clouds in, I could do all kinds of stuff like that. But again, I prefer to do that on a larger canvas. This isn't that big. I don't care about a small painting. I don't care about, well I do, but I don't care about, I'd rather make a strong statement than an accurate painting. How about that? To me, that's the art of things, I know, I think I've said this before. Something my dad said years ago, like I was just a kid when he said it, but it always stuck with me. rather than creating beauty, maybe we should, as an impressionist artist anyway, rather than creating beauty, maybe we should focus on drawing attention to the beauty that already exists. So, that's my mission. Anyway. I guess that's it for now. I'm gonna shut up. I might put it out tonight. I might not put it out until tomorrow afternoon. After I'm back. Or tomorrow morning. I don't know. Shut up, Phil. Have a good night, guys. Okay, this'll be a second.